Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's December 22nd, 2014. Let's get straight into our news tonight. In a year plagued by many high-profile police cases, many questionable police actions, we're starting to see more violence towards police. Now, of course, the most likely way for an officer to die is still in the traffic incident, but now we're starting to see more shootings and other types of violence. And now we have a former assistant FBI director saying that race provocateurs are to blame for the new wave of violence against police. And this is Ronald T. Hosko, and he said that from race provocateurs looking for 5 minutes of fame to those in the media who wantonly mischaracterize and sensationalize recent criminal cases to the government officials who have repeatedly made statements designed to undermine legitimate law enforcement efforts across our nation, it's time to re-examine your own words and actions and take your share of responsibility. And we talk about the officers' actions here at INFOWARS. We were criticized by the Washington sheriff, the Spokane sheriff, for being hate mongers and taking things out of context. We showed you the clip last week of the officer saying that they needed MRAPs and other type of military gear to fight the constitutionalists and people gearing up, people who have all these guns. Now the officer, or excuse me, the sheriff came out and said that he and his department, they're against the Washington version of the Brady Bill, and I do applaud them for that. They say, we don't want to take your guns, but meanwhile, they're training their guys through the SPLC to go and view you, the constitutionalists, as a potential threat. And that's the issue. That's the disconnect. So yes, Sheriff, I'm very proud of you and your organization for saying, no, we're not going to have any type of Brady gun-grabbing organizations going on here, but you're still training your officers that the general American public are to blame for these attacks and various things such as that nature. So when we talk about all the violence that goes on here, let's talk about some of the bad but the good things, because we talk about both when it comes to officers. And let's talk about some of the bad things first that we've seen officers do. How about throwing a flashbang grenade into the crib of a toddler, baby Bobo, who has $1 million in medical expenses after a botched raid, I guess is the best way to say it, a no-knock raid. Officers threw a flashbang grenade into his crib and blew half of his face off. And I'm also against officers like UC Davis. You know, they go out there and they pepper spray everybody peacefully protesting. I'm against things such as that. I'm against the Empire State shooting when they were after a single suspect opened fire and hit 8 or 9 people who were not their intended targets. I'm against those things as well. But things that I'm for, things that I praise the police officers about, how about in New York where they gave a homeless man a pair of boots? I think that's great. And what about in Detroit where the Detroit police said, go buy yourself a firearm, protect yourself. And then when they show up at your house, like we've seen in the reports earlier this year, they say, great job, Mom, for protecting your family against 3 armed attackers. Or what about the cop who was seen buying eggs for a woman of low income status? We respect those officers as well. So it's not all bad doom and gloom. Yes, we have bad officers. We also have good officers. And we try to tell the most complete story that we have. But when we just completely disregard some lies and police brutality cases like we've seen, such as when we want to talk about what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri, particularly lies, when you talk about how they were tear gassing people and then lied about it, that's very much a problem. Or the police brutality where they beat somebody like Kelly Thomas to death. Those things are very bad and need to be brought to the general public, but there are plenty of good officers out there as well. So officers, do not let yourself be divided by these divisional tactics to get you, us versus them. Everybody's in this together, and we need to unite so we can go forward into a prosperous American society. Now let's talk about this. Obama administration aims to create insider threat job specialty to plug leaks. The Obama administration created the office after former soldier Chelsea Manning spilled U.S. secrets to WikiLeaks. Personnel with the insider threat-related task can earn 6-figure salaries in government or industry. But as the article points out, they're less concerned, or they're more concerned about Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden than they are about the people they're actually reporting on. It's the kill the messenger, the Gary Webb type scenario. You know, they get mad at Gary Webb, they want to discredit Gary Webb, and meanwhile, they don't pay any attention to the information that Gary Webb brought forth, just like they're doing with Chelsea Manning and also Edward Snowden. So it's the kill the messenger type of scenario. And while they're busy looking at people inside the government, how about we look into this? North Korea says Obama behind the interview.
미국이 터무니없는 여론을 벌이며 Tonight, North Korea firing back after the U.S. publicly accused the secretive nation of coordinating the cyber attack that crippled movie giant Sony. A spokesman on state-run TV claiming President Obama himself orchestrated the attack and threatening repercussions targeting the White House, the Pentagon, and all of mainland USA if the U.S. does not agree to a joint investigation with the North Koreans. This as President Obama downplayed the cyber attack.
I think it was an act of cyber vandalism that was very costly, very expensive.
And now the U.S. reaching out to China for help reining in the North Koreans. Meanwhile, Sony's hackers apparently undaunted. According to The Hollywood Reporter, they released another message this weekend.
And if this notion sounds strange to you, don't forget that the CIA actually has an entertainment liaison. That's right, so if you want to make a book or movie or anything else, you can call the CIA and they'll give you direction on how best to portray their men and women in the CIA. And it says the skill, innovation, daring, and commitment to public service that defines them. So there you go. So no, it's not far-fetched for the government to be involved in entertainment aspects. And we also saw the article that Kurt Nimmo put out, is it last year or the year before, how the CIA will now openly propagandize Americans. So it's all coming full circle. So stay tuned as we come full circle in this segment of the INFOWARS Nightly News. We'll have more special reports coming up after this break, and also we'll bring you a look of some of the things that happened in Washington this past weekend at the rally at the Spokane Sheriff's Department.
Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation, the exclusive INFOWARS Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock in the last limited shipment of 2014. The most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to scores of serious problems. And Secret 12 is a fusion of 2 organic proprietary forms of vitamin B12, bringing you a true nutraceutical quality vitamin B12. Secret 12. Secret 12 is an excellent Christmas gift and is tailor-made to boost your New Year's resolutions. Supplies of Secret 12 are very limited. Secure yours today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. 2015 is almost here, and with it comes those New Year's resolutions to finally transform your body the way you want it. There's a reason over 88% of New Year's resolutions fail. Make this year different by equipping yourself with Oxy Powder, the next level in cleansing the body naturally. Using super oxygenation, Oxy Powder, available through InfoWarsLife.com, gently cleanses the body while you sleep with easy capsules. Tens of thousands of individuals have used Oxy Powder to cleanse their bodies and aid in their transformations. Even InfoWars Nightly News Director Rob Dew has been using Oxy Powder with incredible success.
Took it that first day, and then I took it for 6 more days after that. 12 pounds melted off in about a week. I'd say a week, 7 days.
2015 can be different. Diet and exercise are important, but a lot of us have already tried that. Oxy Powder flushes it out. Secure your Oxy Powder at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
And welcome back. Now we bring you footage from this past weekend. Our crew was in Spokane, Washington with a group of great patriots outside the Sheriff's Department, protesting the Sheriff's Department's procurement of military vehicles to use on American streets. To their own admission, they want to use these things against constitutionalists and gun owners. Here's a look.
Now, our sheriff said the statement was taken out of context. There is never a context or a situation that would ever justify a statement like that.
Well, the nice thing about this piece of equipment is that if somebody is directing fire toward a team that's trying to get in, they can pull right up to a front, take enemy fire, and still try to address a threat without being fear of getting shot.
So I'm thinking that is totally appropriate in Iraq, but what kind of a situation in the U.S. would you see that happening?
I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition. I mean, we've got a lot of constitutionalists and a lot of people that stockpile weapons, a lot of ammunition. They have weapons here locally.
3 seconds of video and 3 seconds of something taken out of context.
There isn't any debate about this. It's a matter of right and it's a matter of wrong. It is right to support the Constitution of the United States and the rule of law, and it is wrong to threaten those that believe that you're going to hunt them down with an MRAP.
Tell me your thoughts when you first heard the deputy making those comments.
Oh my gosh, it was so frustrating. You know, this is my hometown. You know, I live in North Spokane, and Spokane Valley is just right in my backyard. And when he talks about, how they have the MRAP vehicles because extremists and terrorists that stockpile guns and ammo and stuff, it just makes me really upset in the stomach. I don't like it.
I know that we had the remarks made by the officer about the MRAP being used for constitutionalists. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like we have a lawless government who has no respect for the people, and we see this all the time.
The sheriff indicated that he had an MRAP to go after constitutionalists, gun owners, and I felt threatened by that. But that's the foundation of this country. So I think that's kind of irrational to have a fear against the people who stand for this country.
I would say that deputy is doing nothing but conveying the message that Ozzy's crew is doing that. I had the privilege of doing both. I had the privilege of going through a Reserve Sheriff's Academy down in California. I had the consequence of going through the U.S. Army's training. Both trainings are completely different. They should be. Here we're blending it. We're blending the training, and this is why we've got the problems that we do.
It's getting out of hand, and that's what the government wants. I don't know if we take anything. They're going for the guns. I mean, you take the Second Amendment away, that's the teeth of the entire Constitution.
I have to ask the question, what training did that deputy receive to make him feel so comfortable he would say that in public in front of a Walmart? It is muscle memory, I agree with you. The sheriff wants to talk about context. Let's talk about context. The militarization of our police forces across this country is dividing this country.
You know who the SPLC is, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay. So they are a hate watch group, and they are now training police all across America, including right here in Spokane. And they're basically saying that patriots, conservative Americans, constitutionalists, and libertarians are a terror threat. What do you think about that?
Of course, we're the bad guys, right? Yeah. The mainstream media always is twisting things to give us a half-truth or a complete on lie. We're always stuck there as the bad guys for some reason.
What I'm concerned about is the fact that they have this thought in their mind that the public, the citizens of this county, of this state, of this country are somehow the enemy of the law enforcement. I think that's come through training, and I think that we need to stop that and re-educate these people.
There's an attitude among our public officials that they're in charge, that they are the masters and we are the servants, and it's not the other way around. They're the servants and we're the masters.
So today we stand in defiance of tyranny. We stand in defiance of those who hate the Constitution. We stand in defiance of those who would take our guns, and we say, no more. The line in the sand is here, and we are not going to back up one single inch. And we don't just say that for Spokane Valley, we say that for all of Americans who want to live free. So today we call on our sheriff here in Spokane Valley to apologize to the community, to apologize to the American people, to conduct a constitutional rights class for law enforcement, and if he won't do that, we call on him to resign, and if he won't do that, we will recall this sheriff. And also probably send the MRAP back home, huh? I want to say also that the next time that this sheriff decides to challenge somebody to a debate and we show up to take him up on that, don't suddenly go on vacation, okay? Just actually do what you say you're going to do.
I know he's fought for our rights. I fought for our rights. We have a lot of veterans here who fought for our rights and our freedom, and we will not stand by it and let those of us who have served be called terrorists. That is not all right with me. That is not all right with us.
We need to stand up and say enough is enough.